It's like the Brady Bunch screen. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Monarchs Mocha for Friday game day. Let's talk about game day next. Brought to you by the Roastery. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Let's roll the open. All right, I will admit I'm in a jazzy mood. In a very jazzy mood. Very jazzy mood. I watched one of my favorite movies last night after the football. Let me adjust this a little bit here. Sorry, it kind of takes me out of the screen there. I look kind of odd in this backdrop. We'll change it in a few minutes. But anyway, I'm feeling very jazzy. By the way, if you're hearing me, thumbs up. Make sure I'm hearing myself here. I can just kind of look here. Yeah, I'm hearing me. Isn't that awesome? Last night, I will admit, I am not and this is by no means criticizing those that are. I'm not a Marvel. I did like the original Star Wars. I like blockbusters like most folks, but I'm not in the Marvel gang kind of thing. It's just not my thing. I'm not usually, my movies tend to be more classic style usually. And they look at me kind of funny because I do like rom-coms. I will admit that. It's hopeless romantic in me because why I love baseball. But the 2016 movie La La Land, and it has a great soundtrack, a lot of dancing, things that I can't do. And so I'm kind of feeling jazzy here. Very, very La La Land, dun 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 dun. dun a few folks that have seen that. So, and I'm also very much in the '80s. We talked about that, Mr. Hand and what have you. Fast Times, 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, About Last Night, St. Elmo's Fire. Those are all those. And I like and I will watch the Academy Award winners as best I can, even if I don't like the genre in general. But I know a lot of folks out there, big Marvels and Star Wars and Star Trek, which is all great. They make big money, but they make a lot of money off me. I guess I'm just old square, I guess. I don't know. Anyway. So jazzy today. I got the Roastery Coffee Company while we're here. Let's go and open up one right now. And let that nitro bubbles come to the top here. If you hear those bubbles, hear them? You guys hear them? It's crafted locally in our Kansas City factory. Nitro contains a nitro charged widget at the bottom of the can. When it's cracked open, the widget sends millions of tiny nitrogen bubbles in the beverage and create a thick, creamy head of microfoam on the surface. Fall in love with the texture and velvety texture and flavored notes of chocolate black cherry with a smooth, buttery body and cream sort of like finish. And it's the Roastery Kansas City made and ready to drink right there. Oop, there we go. Sorry. The screen deal does that. Very sci-fi. So I poured in my cool glass here. Let those micro bubbles come to the top. Glad you're along. Don't have a lot today. There's nothing more that we really learned yesterday than we talked about. We talked about really just more than anything else, just what a great Wednesday night we had. Looking forward to today, which, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and tell you now, tickets are available right now. Let me put the screen up right there. We go. Let's flip it. Let's do this. Okay. Yeah, looks pretty good, right? Yeah, okay. Only problem is my hair is doing my hair thing today so that it's blending in with the screen deal there. By the way, a haircut the worst way. Hopefully we'll pull a win off tonight and I can get a haircut tomorrow. But yeah, we have a lot to talk about today, so I won't stay here. I say this every time. I won't stay here very long, but you never know. But it is your show. If you got questions and comments about the Monarchs, about the American Association, about the playoffs, about anything, anything about the Monarchs, I'm here for you. Tonight, it'll be Jalen Miller, who, and I'm going to hold that thought for a moment. I'm going to get back to him in a moment. Facing Garrett Delano. Delano, young man, he went to Mercer, I believe, in Atlanta. He's a dual player. Has played a little bit in the field against us in the past this year, but has also faced the Monarchs this year. I guess I can pull that number up for you real quickly here as we chat amongst ourselves. I love the playoffs too, because one thing that's kind of cool, at least for the broadcast standpoint, is we're doing this tonight. Yes, we are. I'll get to that in just a second. Let me pull up the numbers quickly on Delano, because I had not pulled those up today or even yesterday. I was more worried about just getting the kind of getting the day yesterday. I was a little dragging. I was on adrenaline. I mean, that talk about playoff adrenaline. That was adrenaline. Garrett Delano, 6'2", 210. He's a rookie classification from Florida. Callahan, Florida, went to Mercer. They're in Atlanta. Last year, 1-1 in 9 ball games. This year, 8-3. His last 2 outings, Sioux City, 6 innings each time. Well, Sioux City and then Sioux Falls, both on the road. His last 2 starts have been on the road. 6 innings, 2 earned runs on 5 hits. 6 innings, 4 earned runs on 8 hits. So it's really the last. He's been right on the money. He's tossed 6 innings his last 3 starts. 2 earned, 4 earned, and 4 earned. So 2 of those just under quality starts. So I've got that at what's that? 10 earned runs in 18 innings, something like that. Just about a 4.90. That's about what his season ERA roughly is, 4.45. Last time against Kansas City, you got to go back a ways. Well, not that far back, actually. He got a 11-5. It was 11-5 win for them there in Lincoln. 4 innings, 3 earned runs, 6 hits, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts. But that ball game, I believe, let me pull this one up because that ball game, I believe, was a night game on the 12th. That was here. Okay, that was here. So he did pitch here. It got no decision in that ball game. I left the ball game. The Monarchs had a lead in that one. That was Matt Hartman starting with 5 innings, 5 earned. The Monarchs got an early lead, but did not hold on. Their bullpen locked things down that day. Kansas City, that was a night where, I'm trying to find it here. Yeah, it got away late. Remember some errors. McGrain worked an inning late. They scored 5 runs in the 9th inning. If you guys remember that. There were a couple of errors. There was only 1 earned run on McGrain. They scored 5, but 1 earned run. There was like 2 errors in the inning. It was just probably of the games that actually, I'm sorry, there's 1 error in the inning. It was a crucial error. I believe it was a drop fly ball, if I remember correctly. But I'll get back to your questions and comments in a moment. But that was a stinker, and there weren't many stinkers in August. So I mean, if you're a Lincoln fan, the hope is, well, the Monarchs will have a stinker again at home against Delano. He didn't get the decision, and he left after 4 innings. He was down, and the bases were loaded. And if you remember correctly, the Monarchs could have really broken open and did, and lost the ball game 11-5. And again, he got 5 runs in the 9th inning. So that was on the 12th of August. And the other outing came in Lincoln earlier, I believe, for the All-Star break. If I can find it here. Let's see here. I think he pitched in that series. Yeah, it was a series right before the All-Star break. The Saturday night ball game, 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 5 hits. The Monarchs won that ball game 4-2. I believe that was also the first game back for Matt Hall. Let me pull that game up. Who pitched that ball game? Did I guess that right? It was Hartman that night. Hartman right before the All-Star break. That's right. Hartman went 6, 1 earned run right before the All-Star break. That's right. So anyway, it was a good ball game. Saturday night ball game. The Monarchs won over there against Lincoln back in July. So kind of a mixed bag. But I think the Monarchs do what the Monarchs do. You'll be fine. Let me go to your questions and comments. We're doing this tonight. Yes, we win tonight. We'll play tomorrow next week. Cindy says, if the Monarchs win tonight, it's wait and see. All depending on what happens. There's 2 scenarios. let's just assume the Monarchs do win. Let's just assume. Well, I'm not going to say we're going to, because you got to go out there and play the game. They wear uniforms too, I'll warn you. I mean, they could go out there tonight and they could very easily take you down. And you have to play a do or die tomorrow. You hope you don't, but that's a possibility. If the Monarchs do lose tonight, the Monarchs will play tomorrow night at 6 o'clock for a winner move on. Okay, that's scenario one if Lincoln wins tonight. If Lincoln does not win, the Monarchs win tonight. The Monarchs will be obviously off tomorrow for a bonus day. Travel day on Sunday would open the next series at the opponent's ballpark on Monday. Now, where that'll be is anybody's guess, because there's two scenarios here. Winnipeg was to win tonight, they would move on. If Fargo wins tonight, they'll play one more do or die. We would not know in that case, in the scenario of Fargo winning tonight and forcing a game three playoff, winner take all deal. We would not know till sometime, tomorrow night, 9 or 10 o'clock, which way we're heading. We might know a little earlier if that game got out of hand. Let's just say one team, like you kind of knew Lincoln was going to win on Monday. It wasn't official yet, but it looked that way. You might have a little better idea, 7 or 8 o'clock, but you're not going to know. And if we're playing tomorrow night, you're not going to know until after the game's over, probably anyway. But my expectation is the Monarchs will travel. I don't have any official word on this, but my expectation is the Monarchs will travel overnight, Saturday/Sunday morning, and arriving wherever, be Fargo or Winnipeg, and we'll play the Monday there in that opponent's place and back here on Wednesday. What does September 17th look like? Assuming we went up until that date, September 17th. Let me look here. What do you mean? What does it look like? Who's playing where? Where's my schedule? Let me pull my schedule up. Hold on just a second. I've got a postseason schedule somewhere. Where is it? It was in the game notes. Yeah, Wednesday. Let me put those up. Here we go. Oops, sorry. The schedule for the 17th is as follows. Again, this is assuming, you're still playing then, which, knock on wood, you are. Let's see here. September 17th would be the Miles Wolf Cup Finals. That's the championship series. That's game one. That game would be the lower seed hosting. So assuming Kansas City went on to the final, the Monarchs will not play a home game on the 17th of September. That just won't happen, because the Monarchs would be the number one seed in either scenario. If the Monarchs go forward and beat Winnipeg or Fargo Moorhead, they're still the higher seed over those two. I mean, those two don't matter. It's the one, if you win the next series, you're still your overall highest seed. So you play September 17th and 18th at the lower seed, home the 20th, 21st, 22nd, if necessary. That's down the road a ways, but that is the schedule right there, Stino. So hope that helps you out there. Let's see here. What else we got here? Yeah, there we go. That's your schedule. But yeah. No, you'll be fine. That's a road game for sure. Road game for the Monarchs for sure that day. Anyway, Monarchs Mocha here on a Friday. Game time tonight at 6:30. Don't forget 6:30 tonight, not 7, 6:30. So make your plans accordingly. The other series tonight, we're the only series of the home teams who can wrap it up tonight. The other home teams all have to win to go on. So Fargo, King County, Chicago all got to win to play on Saturday. The only teams that can wrap tonight, well, everybody can wrap tonight. Obviously, Kansas City can. The Wednesday winners can wrap tonight. Kansas City can wrap tonight. Cleveland can wrap tonight. Milwaukee can wrap tonight. And Winnipeg can wrap tonight. Now, I don't know what the state of Winnipeg is, because that's a wild card. They lost Max Murphy. I don't know if you heard me talk about this yesterday. Max Murphy, the MVP of the league, basically, was one of the best players in the league offensively. He was hurt, broken leg. He's done for the year. Just a real sickening, terrible news for the Gold Eyes and for the league. I mean, you'd love to have your MVP playing in the postseason in high leverage games, and he won't be. Terrible news there from Winnipeg. But Golden Knights still got a pretty thick ball club. They've got 2 cracks at it without Max Murphy. They probably, by winning, they lost. And I'm not saying that's going to happen. I mean, I still think they have a all they're going to do is win one of 2 ball games. But the tragedy of it was, the sickening part about it was, they won and they lost him, so they won and lost. And I would tell you, you just don't lose. You saw how long it took for this club to re-energize, losing a Gabby Guerrero, losing Big City, losing, some of you folks, we talked about that trade earlier, the Abreu, the reshuffling of the ball club a little bit, losing David Thompson. You've lost some key pieces, but you've added key pieces. So I'm going to get to more of that in a moment. But that's a challenge. And it doesn't happen overnight. You don't just snap your fingers, go, okay, here we go. Here's so-and-so. So-and-so's got to get there, fit in, get their sea legs. Maybe it didn't play in a few weeks. Maybe they were released in July. They hadn't played in a while, which has been the case here. Malik Smith, admittedly, to me, told me he hadn't played in a while. Been a couple weeks until he finally got going. And, in Robson's case, he basically, it was Robson, or do I have him backwards? One of the two had just played a couple days before. And in the cases of Valdez and Miller, they'd both pitched recently, so they weren't too far off track. Do I need to start a Santa tracker? Where is Kevin? He'll be involved. I would imagine he'll be out there tonight against a righty. There's so many lefties in this lineup against lefties. That's why we saw 3 consecutive lefties against Fargo, 1 the other night. That's the main reason you haven't seen Kevin. I would think tonight you'll see him. He's hit very well here. I would think tonight he's in the lineup against the righty, I would think. But again, that all depends. I mean, it all depends on what Joe comes up with. He's not going to, but I love it though. He's not going to, like Joe told us on Wednesday, there's nothing reason to trick things up. Don't change how things are done. The slight changes for Kansas City have been against lefty-righty combinations, and that's why the switch hitters are so key. Brusa, Sweeney, and Gillespie. And the first 2 have really been, the second 2 have really been that part of, that part of whole, what's the word for it? They've been more inclined. Joe's been more inclined to pencil those names in against lefties. So, anyway, pretty cool. Anyway, I'm looking at some notes here. Anyway, there's two things that go in the component during the season on days off. One is just giving a guy a day here and there, right? That's what versatility does. 2, lefty-righty combinations sometimes will give a guy a day off as well. As deep as this club is, that's why I think you'll see Kevin tonight. Which led me to come back to what I was thinking of earlier this morning. I had a really crappy workout behind this week. These weird travel weeks where there's no groove, it's got me, I can't get in my workout groove, and it's driving me insane. It really is driving. Probably the biggest thing that's bugging me today is that I didn't get my quality workout in today, and that is unacceptable because I can just feel myself expanding as I do that. It's like I'm sitting here expanding. It drives me nuts. It just drives me nuts. I'm addicted to working out, which is ridiculous. I hate it. I really hate it. I hate it, but I'm addicted. Anyway, we talked about, the collective of remember when this team lost some pieces, we talked about collectively how this thing would go forward. And you're seeing the fruits of that right now. Collectively, this team has collectively replaced some very, very good pieces. I mean, if all things were healthy, if Matt Adams isn't going to hurt, and David Thompson doesn't have his personal issues, this team probably could sleepwalk to the postseason. But that being said, Mark needs a Twinkie. Well, I'll try to find some because they didn't give me any last week, and I'm pissed. It's like they walked by the broadcast booth, and it's like, we're not going to go in there. I'm really a nice guy. You guys know this. You've met me. I'm not a jerk. I'm only, so there are times it's pretty simple. I talk to everybody I like, and I pretty much like everybody. Okay, there are a few exceptions out there. The random, even the random Eagles fan was flipping me off years ago behind my head in the picture. I still liked him. I bought him a beer. Okay, I'm not a jerk. But they keep walking by me without Twinkies. What's going on there? People look at me. I'm like, I don't have any. Sorry. Here's some roastery coffee though. Catch this can. Anyway, Anthony brings a good point up, and I will get to that in a moment. But again, I'm going back to collective here. Jalen Miller's going tonight. And when we signed Jalen Miller, I remember asking Joe, we got new players, tell me about Jalen. He tells us on the show. And there's, he tells us, anytime you get new arms in, the best case is that, you're hoping they're not going to crater, because again, a lot of times guys who've not been in this spot before, adjusting affiliated ball to indie ball can be a challenge. We've had this conversation. I think I told you the conversation that Jacob Lingard and I had last year. It took him a while to figure it out. When he did, that's a guy in the big leagues. He realized it was more of a big league mentality than it was a up the ladder mentality. And Jacob and I talked about that at length, and you can see his transition this year. Jalen looked really good last time out. And I think the wild card is when I didn't realize that he's looked really good every time out, even in relief. He's not being asked to come in here and be Matt Hall, but he's got a number 2 slot here, and he's been very, very good. And this is a really good piece that I think really helps Kansas City tonight, because he's pitched very well, and he gets the indie ball thing. He's pitched in this league before. He gets it. He understands what this is about, and he understands the situation. He seems like a really unflappable young man. He's very competitive. He has a bit of a I don't know how to put it. In my limited conversations pregame with him, he reminded me a little bit of the way Tommy Collier would go about his business before. Now I don't know. I know Tommy very well, but he had that same kind of, it's time to go get him. Very competitive. Very almost football mentality. Not that he's running through the wall, but he's very matter of fact, it's time to go. Some guys aren't like that. Some guys are very calm. They don't say anything at all. But just he's embraced the moment, I believe. And I think that he has also developed a really good kinship, which don't discount this, with Alex Valdez along with Malik Smith, because these are all new guys, the ball club, but Malik's came in first. And Malik's just sort of paved the way to say, look, this is what we've been doing here. I came in late too, but this is what we do here. I think that's really helped. And again, this is just me seeing it from a distance, but I've seen these guys in groups. I saw them, I've seen them blend in, and it's hard for a guy coming in late in the year, but he's been very good. And I think that when you get a guy, you get late arms, your hope is that they can deliver at least somewhere between, not necessarily ace-like stuff. You don't want them to crater either. But both these guys have been ace-like stuff, and that's really impressive. And I think that goes back to what we talked about before about Max Murphy in Winnipeg. You don't replace Max Murphy overnight. You don't replace Max Murphy at all. You don't replace, in this case, David Thompson and Matt Adams overnight, but the collective can. And what Joe's done is collectively over the course of time strengthen this ball club. Okay, you're not going to find a big city out there. They're not walking the streets and they're going to go, oh, that guy's going to come in and hit 25 home runs and drive 100 runs. It's not going to happen. They don't just grow on trees. They're not out there everywhere. But, okay, I need depth in pitching. Okay, if we're going to have to win this thing with some depth in the pitching department, I got 2 guys here I can use. And that's the collective approach, right? That's what I'm talking about. The better that you actually improved your ball club despite losing. Yes, you lost your big stick. You got a gaping hole in the middle of the lineup card. But you did replace it there. And then you come back to the guys you got playing now in that lineup. Robson, for example, Grotjohn. You think about those pieces, Malik Smith. Those 3 pieces have dramatically kept your lineup deep and changed the way the lineup's done, but it's a collective. You're not asking Malik Smith to be big city or Grotjohn to be big city, but the collective, the approach is still there. And I think you saw what this lineup can do on Wednesday night when they got a couple, when they made those adjustments. Still doing the things this lineup's done before. Grotejohn's a great example of a guy who works the count deep. Much like we've seen when Adams was driving in mammoth home runs, he was doing it like that. John Hernandez, guys that work the counts like that. Casey Gillespie's phenomenal at it. So again, I go back to this collective group. You in this business, it's hard to replace. In football, you plug a new running back in, you hope he doesn't fumble the ball, right? Backup quarterback usually is a step down, right? But you got to somehow overcome somewhere else by maybe run the ball more with instead of throwing the ball, whatever. Baseball, similar to that in a sense, but the collective can sometimes overcome that gaping hole. And that's what I'm telling you. And I thought about that this morning. Miller and Valdez have been huge finds. I mean, let's just go back to where this club might be if you didn't have those two pieces. I mean, I think you're still okay, but you're going to be, did you feel strong when when Valdez came to the ball game on Wednesday night? Felt pretty good about it. I feel good about Jalen Miller tonight. That doesn't mean he's going to go out and toss 7 shutout innings. He might, but you're not. You're asking him to give you innings and keep you in the ball game. He will do that, and that's what he's done, and that's what he's here for. And I think we sometimes forget when we, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? We don't have this and all that. It's a collective, and Joe's done a phenomenal job of that since 2017. I've watched it time and time again. The collective, it doesn't always. It's not always a big bat. The 2018 season, the trade, it was a big bat, but it's not always the case. I go back to the 18 season, there was a move made. What was the move I'm thinking of in 18? Let me think here. Well, there was a couple. Let me see if I can find them here. Let me pull my numbers up from the 18 season. Sorry. I promised I wouldn't go too long, but looks like I will. Nope. I want to go to. I'm trying to think of that. I'm trying to think of that team, or the 2018 team. They all started to run together for me a little bit, but let's see here. 2018 Kansas City Monarchs. Let me see if I can pull my roster up here. I'm trying to search my computer on my screens in front of me too, watching you guys. So here we go. Here we go. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to go to 2000 and here we go. Now 2018's roster had a couple moves much like the Jalen Miller and Alex Valdez movement. I don't think you guys want to go take you back there, so take me a moment to pull this up. But I will take you back to, I talked a little bit about the Ryan Brett move. That was a big one. Oh my gosh, it's taking forever. Come on, internet. There we go. The Monarchs had a guy off and on that year, Barrett Aston, who came in a midway. He was one of the bodies I was thinking of, pitcher. And then the other one would have been Jared Mortensen. Remember the trade for Mortensen they got in early August? He'd been down there in Grand Prairie and Cleburne and kind of, member Team Canada, but had been really good in this league, very much like a Jalen Miller. And he came in, he pitched the clincher in 2018, the championship game he pitched in. He was a late piece that kind of a team that had pretty good pieces. That team had some really good pieces, but Mortensen comes in, and Mortensen was great for the small sample size he had. That team had a closer, Monarski, who was a legend, still leads the franchise in saves. And then your starting rotation that year was, let's see here, you had Tommy Collier was your ace. He was, your ace. You had Hunter Adkins was your number 2. Barrett Aston was your 3. I think they may have flip-flopped in the postseason. And then you had either Filomeno. Well, Filomeno was in the bullpen. Who was the other 4th starter? Would have been the other starter in the postseason was Mortensen. And Mortensen came in and gave you 4 really solid starters. I think the Monarchs were kind of flipping a couple of guys. It was there was Mazzucchelli and Calvano, the local products that were pitching some, or product was pitching some in that 5th spot. But your rotation was Collier, Aston, Atkins, and you go and grab Mortensen, and Mortensen becomes your number, basically kind of slides in what Jalen Miller's done. And I would tell you with what Nick Belzer's done, and Hartman pitched very well last time as well. You got a very deep rotation, and don't discount the fact that you got Lewis Thorpe waiting the wings. So I went a long way to kind of this whole subject of the collective, but these moves have been made before. And it reminds me a lot, and I've seen this before, and I realized this morning that this is much like we've seen Joe do before. So anyway, I know I kind of went on a ramble there, but that's what DB does. Where were we, guys, on the questions? Yeah, he's on fire as well. He looked very good. Didn't he, Karen? He did. Anthony, good point. And I thought about this. The other thing I thought about this morning was, because, and I'm being selfish here. My hair looks like it's on fire, and it is on fire. But I mean, I for example, I need a haircut. I want to do some wash, whatever. I mean, getting out of town tomorrow night it's going to be a challenge for us. But if we don't play tomorrow, I got a whole day to get things sorted, right? I can go fly in Dallas to my wife if I want to, whatever. I mean, I'm not pressured tomorrow to prepare for a broadcast. And the same token, Anthony, the players are going to get a day off, and that's another thing. If tonight you go out there, and let's just say tonight you go at, say, Miller goes 6. Let's say you get an inning from, just say it's one of your innings from, Martinson gives you an inning. I don't know. Coach gives you an inning. Somebody, and it's either Valdez or McGrain give you an inning, and that's all. And you got tomorrow off. You got Sunday off. You don't play them on Monday. That's a good thing. And anybody's nicked and banged up, guys who have some issues that have been banged up a little bit, that's a huge thing, because the other teams you're playing, if Winnipeg and Fargo go to tomorrow night, which I expect them to go to tomorrow night, if they have to go to tomorrow night, let's just say Fargo has to, they could very easily come back tomorrow night on short rest and pull McGovern out of the bullpen. Very easily could do that. I don't know if they will, but it's possible. He would have pitched Wednesday, only 3 innings on Wednesday. He was off Thursday, Friday. Could he give them 3 innings tonight or tomorrow night? Sure. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but also, they're going to be forced tomorrow night to use a third lefty. Now, granted, McGovern can come back again and pitch on Monday in the series. He'd be able to pitch Monday, but your lefties, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 12, one lefty would be available for the game here. So yeah, I would tell you that that's big. The Monarchs I'm not saying they're going to have a short rest either, because it may work out for them. But let's just say McGovern does go tomorrow night in a backup role. He's not available Monday, and they've got to start someone at home. I'm just using them as an example. It's in a do or die. They've got to use whatever. So I think that's a huge deal. It's supposed to rain tomorrow night here, Anthony. Is that what you're telling me? I haven't looked at the weather. I thought it was supposed to be sunny all weekend. Am I dreaming that? I don't know. Let's see here. I will tell you my limited expertise, Mark, in this situation. And I told this to Mark Brandmeier yesterday, I believe. The reason a lot of times, and I've had this one of my favorite people in baseball is Simon Isons. He pitched for Team England, played for Perth for years. Simon's one of my broadcast partners in Australia. He's a phenomenal guy, a legendary ABLer back in the day. And he is really the professor of this whole thing. And he's kind of taught me a little bit. And I've heard this over the years too. Another guy, there's another pitching coach that told me this as well over the years, that have told me that the reason guys early in the ball game, especially starters, get knocked around a bit, because they're not fatigued enough. Now that sounds kind of crazy, right? Because you come out there all juiced up and you're ready to go, right? You're throwing darts, boom, boom, but you're so juiced up and you're so fresh. Because of that, you throw so hard, you throw a little harder, and you're a little fresher. You don't get the movement you get if you get a little fatigue. And I'm not saying you want your arm falling off, but if your arm is fresh and you're just feeling good, sometimes it's flat. And I think that's what you're seeing. I think in high leverage situations, he's a little flat. I think when he comes in perhaps more relaxed, I think that's what's happening. Now, granted, he's warmed the same way, but I think the difference is, and it's much like a starter. Starter comes in, he's fresh, he's ready to go, he's juiced up, and he's throwing hard. But he's throwing so hard, he's throwing so flat. Your mechanics sometimes early on will get out of whack because you're so fresh. You want a little lather there. You want a little sweat. You want that a little limited. I'm not saying your arm needs to be hurting. That's what I'm saying. But you want a little bit of that, whatever makes that ball move. And I know as a guy who kicked the ball, a football at a high level, I can tell you that, the stretching and loosening all that up was great. But for me, if I kicked 20, 25 balls, before the ball game, and I'd kick, I was ready to go, I get a lot more control, a lot more finesse, whatever I need to do. I just know and if I think it works the same way in golf somewhat. If you try to kill the ball in golf, sometimes there comes the slice of the hook, a little fatigue. And I know I can tell you right now, the last time I played, my father-in-law, I was dragging tail. It was about 800 degrees out, but I was able to take a little bit of something off and hit the ball straighter. I'm just saying that I think sometimes we get fatigued. So that's my take on it. I'm not saying, and what Simon's always told me, that you come in so juiced up, sometimes that fastball, if you're throwing the two-seam fastball, it ain't doing what it's supposed to do. It comes off the arm, and you're throwing as hard as you can, and your arm feels great. You're not getting that normal movement. If you're a little fatigued, just a little bit of it, you take a little bit off, not a lot, but a little bit off. That causes that your fundamentals to take over and your grip to take over, and causes the ball to move. What I'm seeing from him, just from what I'm seeing, is the ball's a little flat when he comes in. That's what I'm seeing. Now, not everybody has that problem. Some guys come in and don't have that problem. Some guys do have that problem. I think in his case, he's a guy that's been a starter as well. And that, I think the longer he goes, the better he looks. Right? But you're not going to take a chance the bases are loaded or tying runs at the plate, right? And he's not, not where he needs to be. I think that's my take, and that's just me who's watched this game a while. I have no coaching experience in that. This was what I've heard, what people have told me. You want a little lather there. But yeah, it was Monday. It was doing that, was Valdez. Yeah, you're more likely to find a modest city, but that's the point. And I think that if you're Winnipeg, you're like, okay, we're not going to get a Murphy, but how we get through this as a collective. And I think what Joe has done a phenomenal job of, and that's why I don't think people realize this, but I see it firsthand in July when we're on a road and we're going to city, and he's on that phone just working to see what it's going to be, because you never know. And I guarantee you, Miller and Valdez were on his radar probably earlier than we'd realize. That move he made that day was probably days in the making. It was one of those things that happened based upon need. You are slightly below average, Snito. You're a Berg. You're a Berg. That's what you are. Well, again, I think the ball's a little flat in those situations. That's what I'm seeing from up there. And granted, but 5-run lead in the road in a playoff game, I think that I would normally say yes, that's not high leverage. I would agree with you, Snito, but I think in a playoff game where you want to win and go home and 1-0 with a chance to close out at home, that's high leverage. But I would, again, you're apples and oranges, I suppose. But I see what you're saying. But anyway, so yeah, I think you guys all bring up really good points. Could the time off tomorrow will be huge? I totally agree with you on that. But again, the Monarchs, along with the other 3 road teams, have a chance to close out tonight. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens in a couple play. Well, they're all going to be interesting to see. I do expect Fargo to rebound and play tomorrow night. I think that plays right. That's what either one of those scenarios, whoever goes tomorrow night, if they go 3 games, That's good for the Monarchs either way. Okay, I don't even though the math may work out when McGovern gets the pitch on Monday, that's fine. They may get the lefties with the travel day, get the lefties because they may play Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So yeah, your next lefty would be ready to go. I don't like that part. I don't like that part of it because that sucks because there's no advantage. But oh well, they'll adjust that next year. But the less fatigue you have, the better, right? I mean, if you can leave tomorrow night and go to Canada or to Fargo, and you're not having to, you can relax tomorrow and not have to be stressed out. Pack the bags tomorrow afternoon and hit the road tomorrow night and spend Sunday off day, travel day already there, and have a Monday to ready to go. And then I think that's great. If you can get that extra middle off day, even that's huge, Anthony. You're huge on that. Last call for questions and comments. Last call for questions and comments. Tonight, I believe everybody starts. Let's see. Fargo starts at, I believe there is 7 o'clock. Let's just pull the times up. Why just pull the times up, Vaughn? That'd be the easiest thing to do. Just pull them up. I'll tell you the game times tonight. So we'll be watching in the scoreboard tonight. 6 o'clock for King County and Cleveland. 6:30 for Fargo. Everybody else, you're all at 6:30 tonight. So 6:30, everything's 6:30, and then 6 o'clock for the first one, Cleveland and King County, which again, I think they're all delicious. I mean, really are all delicious. I think we'll know if Cleveland wins tonight. If Cleveland wins tonight, mark my words, if Cleveland wins tonight, they will play for the Miles Wolf Trophy. That's plain and simple. Okay. If they can go up to Chicagoland and win, they will be, now granted, they're going to have a real tough time because if they win tonight, they get to go home and they got to come back up. Their travel may wear them out. What may get Cleveland is that their travel may wear them out. But if they win tonight, they play for the Miles Wolf Trophy. I firmly believe that. That's how good they're playing right now. But again, King County's been really good at home, and they lost 3-1 down south. I mean, it's not like they got rolled or anything like that. The other ball game, Chicago, Milwaukee, that's a toss-up, really, to me. Chicago's pitching slightly better, but Milwaukee's body of work lately has been really good. I think that one right there. I think that series probably goes the 3 games. Of the ones the one I'd be shocked that didn't go 3 games would be the one over in Fargo. I think that one goes 3 for sure. The other 2, I think it's a coin toss. I really think it's a coin toss, and I think that you could see, really exciting. That's a really exciting series. Mark says, I don't know, we don't want to travel to Canada, but Matt Hall there for game 1, then 2 at home. Hall's going to go. That's the thing. No matter what happens on Monday, Hall goes on Monday. If we play the Mars All-Stars, he's pitching in the service of Mars. So that's who we're playing. We're going to do that. No passport required there, right? Just one of those Elon Musk spacecrafts, right? I'm going to go down to Padre for that. But I agree with you. That's what's at stake there. But and don't forget don't forget, this is a very deep pitching staff. Remember when the Monarchs were rolling in August, what was the recipe? The offense was timely, doing what the offense did, but the pitching staff was tossing quality starts. Belzer, for example. Belzer was really good in the month of August. It's coming after injury. Hartman had a couple quality starts to finish things up. Remember, you had Brock Gilliam and Jordan Martinson both came out of the bullpen through quality starts. In Winnipeg. Hall's led by example, and big time by example. And Lewis Thorpe, by the way, was with the team, and I would expect to see Lewis in this thing next week. Now, can you imagine? Let's say Thorpe is healthy and activated on Monday for the second series. You've got a Hall, Miller, Thorpe, Belzer, Hartman combo platter, and those guys, you don't have to use all of them as starters. You could, one of those guys, couple of pieces to be in the bullpen. Can you imagine? Let's say you're able to go in a situation where you've got Thorpe waiting in the wings with that breaking ball, right? That's wild. Yeah, he's dominant. He's also a good dude too, and I think that's what I think what you've heard Joe say on the top step there tonight. He is a really good person, and he's really Joe feels very strongly. And Joe's an emotional guy. We know this, but there's a genuine love for this team and him. And I can just tell you, I'm around him a lot. He's a class act all the way, and he is the de facto leader. There's no doubt about it, that he's the guy, despite not playing every day, that this team looks toward, and he's the guy. I mean, Big City was the guy at the plate, and he still is. Big City will be doing that from afar, but he was the guy everybody gravitated to in that bus. Matt Hall is also the guy people gravitate to, offensively, defensively, whatever. And I think you see that his steadiness there, his leadership there is huge. And then also Darnell and Casey. Those two guys they're not going to scream and holler a lot, but they know what they're doing. And I think you're just seeing a really cool thing before our eyes here. And I hope we look back, and I want us to enjoy the ride, but looking back, these are the salad days. There's no guarantees you're going to be here every year, but the way this thing's set up, you've got a chance every year. As long as Joe's culture is doing what Joe's culture does between the lines, you got a chance every year. And, like I said, you'd probably finish you could have a worse record than you did last year, but have a better team. I think you see that. So anyway, all right, the Mats, yes. All right, broadcast time tonight. Again, we're going to be on at there we go. Be on the air tonight at 6 o'clock on Monarchs radio side of things. We'll have your Coors Light flashback moment, playoff moment. I'm going to dive in a little bit, I believe, tonight into more the 1924 World Series. And I've got some interesting stuff that was sent to me by Kevin Luco, and also some stuff that was sent to me by we're on the air. Somebody's knocking on my door. Can't answer the door. Anyway, somebody's knocking on my door. All right. So anyway, tonight, broadcast time. What other thing I was going to tell you about? John Updike from Gary sent me some stuff too. We'll try to get to it the next couple of days for Monarchs 101 with DV. So that's all coming up tonight here, the Monarchs and the somebody's really trying to come in my house. AA Baseball TV tonight. AA Baseball TV tonight. Hold on. Give me a second. All right, guys. I got to go. I'll see you in the broadcast tonight. AA Baseball TV and on MixLR. We put that up. I'm on the air. That's why I love being here in my Delaware Heights studios here. Here we go. All right. 1, 2, 3, go Monarchs. And I'll see you in the broadcast tonight. 1, 2, 3, go Monarchs. I'll see you in the broadcast tonight, everybody.